Welcome to Informed. I'm Randy Taylor. This show is focused on just that, to bring you experts to inform you on a wide range of topics from health to business to politics, relationships, and so much more. Today's show deals with a very real stress that millions of seniors face every day. With a changing economy, increased cost of living, and an uncertain future, being concerned if you'll have enough money to last through into retirement has become something of a national pastime. Our guest today is here to discuss this exact issue and to share insights into alleviating stress and discussing the prospect of having money last through life. It's a great pleasure to welcome financial planning and retirement strategist, Brian Taub. Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Randy, I was so excited when you called me up to have me on your show. I am just excited to be here.
Well, I mean, this is something that has always been a fascination of mine. And I'll be honest, in being in this position, that, I have the opportunity to, find out kind of the pulse of the public and what information that they want to know, to choose a topic, and then to go out into the marketplace and search for people that I believe can really add some great insight, into this topic and to help people. So again, I really appreciate you being on.
Well, I'm gonna do my best to try to educate people on what's out there and what I can do for them.
So, I mean, because of your knowledge and experience in helping people approaching retirement and dealing with stress and frustration and helping them come up with really a viable strategy, do you see this stress as a major issue today for Canadians?
I absolutely do, because during the pandemic, if stress levels are high now, they were even higher even before pre-pandemic times. Canadians overall are worried about, are they going to have enough money into retirement? And if they do have enough money, is there going to be enough to put food on the table?
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, one of the statistics that I read recently was that something like over 70% of Canadians do not even have a financial plan. But do you believe that there are options available for almost everyone to ensure, if they do sit down and plan, that they will have money for life?
I absolutely do, because I have a number of clients who are in their late 60s, early 70s. And we have sat down and we have discussed whether or not they will have enough money. And sure enough, when I explain that there are options out there, you can see the stress level starting to dissipate. So absolutely, there are always options out there.
All right, listen, before we get into talking about these options, and it must feel, we'll talk about this, but it must feel amazing to be able to be that person that alleviates that stress. One thing my entire career in broadcasting that I've been fascinated with is to find out how this started, why people do what they do. There's almost always a story. What about this for you?
Randy, in my previous life, I spent approximately 14 years working in bankruptcy and insolvency, and I have seen thousands and thousands of clients do things that got them into a situation that could have been preventable. And so what I do now is I've taken everything I've learned during the time I spent those years in that field, and I'm using it to the advantage of people that I sit down with today, because I find that it's people's behavior that really dictates how and the kinds of things that lead them to get into various situations.
So, I mean, in looking at this, it really sounds like the kind of pain in your previous position that you saw people going through. You decided, this was a kind of a calling, a mission for you in life. You couldn't maybe change their lives and what had happened, but to be able to work with people to prevent those kinds of mistakes and to provide some great solutions. What a great way to get into a career.
Right, and I feel blessed that that I'm able to sit down with people to really map out a strategy so that they don't end up falling into this kind of trap. Because I've seen this far too often. So my mission is to ensure that that people have a secure and comfortable retirement, free of stress. That is the mission that I'm on, and I could not be happier in my current role
So
at
in,
this
in
time.
looking at this, and again, I appreciate your time for being on the show today. This is, this is very solutions based. We can talk about philosophy all day long and the rest of it, but when you sit down with a couple, so, in this situation where someone has stress, is their money going to last? They're at this specific point in time. Is there a process that you walk through and you work with people on?
Yeah, we call it the fact find. So, but I like to call it getting background information on the person that I'm trying to help. The person or the family, and so I want to find out what keeps them up at night, what makes them happy, uh, what are their goals, short term, long term. So if I understand that, I am better able to come up with the solutions that's going to work for them, because after all, it's not about me, it's about them. I'm not here to sell anyone anything. I am a solution provider. That's my goal, is to understand their situation and come up with a solution that is tailor made for their situation.
Yeah, I thought that was very fascinating when I contacted you and asked you to be on the show, and we had that discussion. And it just seemed to be, I mean, your approach to this seemed to be completely counter to what most people think is going to happen with an advisor. And I think what most advisors do, that you begin with the end in mind, saying, what kind of experiences do you want to have? Where do you want to go? How do you want to include your family and your kids and the legacy you leave? And starting there, because one, it makes perfect sense when you start there, that, then when you get down to trying to, really refine the plan, there's a point, right? There's an emotional connection to the numbers now on a spreadsheet. I thought that was brilliant.
Thank you. I like to start off with someone, asking them, why do you want insurance? Like if I get a call and someone says I'm interested in getting insurance, well, there are various types of insurance products out there: critical illness, disability, term. So it's not. I have to find the right fit, because if I don't find what is the right fit for that individual, then I'm not doing my job. So, we sit down, we'll determine what is the best solution for this type of product that they're looking for. Because if all I'm going to do is just sell term or critical illness, when in fact someone doesn't really need that particular type of product, I'm not doing them a favor. I'm actually doing myself a favor. And it's, like I said before, it's not about me, it's about the client. I put the client's interests above anything I do. In fact, I go out of my way to treat clients as I do with my own family. So that's the quality and the attention to detail that I will provide clients with.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, I have heard many times, I'm sure you have too, that that business is not based on sales, or it should not be. It should be based on solutions. And I think that that's exactly what you're saying, to walk in and say, look, I have nothing to sell you. I'm here to see if I can help you. Talk to a great number of people, about this, about working with an advisor, and they, said that they rarely, were contacted and didn't really think that they were understood. What's your philosophy in this and the relationship you believe should be between an advisor and a client?
Okay, the most important thing that an advisor has to do is they have to listen. You have to listen to what the individual is saying, because if you're not hearing that person, you're not going to be able to address their concerns. So it's vital to just listen, talk less and listen more. Because when you talk less and you listen more, you'd be surprised what actually comes out.
That is such a powerful philosophy, and it reminded me of a poster I saw a number of years ago. It said, "You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Pay attention." Right. So that sounds like it. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Brian, something that I ask all of my guests, and I'm not putting pressure on you to have to do this, but if you would like, if people have questions or want to contact you, could we share your contact information?
Absolutely, Randy. It'll be my pleasure.
All right. That's terrific. Again, Brian, thank you so much for sharing this knowledge, and I'm sure it's helping a lot of Canadians to alleviate some of that stress. So appreciate it again.
Randy, I enjoyed this thoroughly. Thank you very much for having me today.
Have an excellent day. Great. Listen, if you have been informed, come on back and join us again, and please like and share this video. Until next time, for all of us here at Informed, I'm Randy Taylor. Have an incredible day and be well.